This is our salute.
Let's get ready to rumble. Feel the fires into the red.
4 wide down the main straightaway. The 22 very best competitors. The National Street Stock title. Turn 1 and 2, this is your time. Get out of your seat and on your feet. This is the 4 wide salute to you, the fans of the Cush Clothing National Street Stock title. They've come from everywhere. Western Australia, South Australia, Tasmania, Central Queensland, and plenty of locals here in Victoria. The Cush Clothing National Street Stock title at Western Speedway Hamilton is green. And McKendrick and Bear have an even start down into turns 1 and 2. Everyone hoping for an even first lap down the back straightaway for the first time. McKendrick, your leader, Bear going with him. We're side by side for 3rd and 4th. Norman on the bottom, levels up with McKendrick. We might be 3 across the track for the lead, and Norman hits 2nd place. Bear back to 3rd. Determined to run the outside as Ahern. Now to the inside of Nathan Thorne. Top 5 just settling into a race of their own. We're through the first lap. And the cream rising to the top. Look at Hayden Norman. Hit the front. The West Australian goes through. Anthony Bear goes through to 2nd. Then McKendrick gets shuffled out as Ahern. Now goes through to 3rd position. Thorne gets crossed up, comes off the infield and settles back into 5th. Barbler served up further back in the field and he's dropped wholesale positions. Bear now poking his nose to the inside of Hayden Norman. Norman on the low side. Ahern goes to the inside of Anthony Bear. We're side by side for 2nd position now. Settles back into 5th, back to the Goldie in 7th. Kinnear in 8th. Ben Norman back in 9th and Lenny Bay's 10th, but back to your lead as Bear pokes the nose to the inside, a little bit of contact. Bear off the infield now, goes through on Norman, there's more contact, the bumpers are caught up, and Anthony Bear hits the front. The bumper dragging behind as Norman and Bear come together in the battle for the lead. Norman washes wide and Ahern tries to poke his way through. Meekins retires to the infield, he's out with a flat tyre, but Bear now leads. Ahern settles into 2nd position. Back to Hayden Norman, Nathan Thorne and Matt Nelson. Was pretty willing and you'd expect nothing less than a national title. Further back through the field now, pushing wide the Western Australian, and the number 6 has given up position number 3 to Nathan Thorne. Hayden Norman trying to fight back to the inside, but he drops to 4th position. Nelson in 5th. They're going to have dramas further back in the field as the Tasmania 16 around, a big contact. Jason Jewell in very hard. Nick Taylor, who was running in 12th position, turned around and Jason Jewell made heavy contact with the Tasmania number 16 with 32 still on the clock, and Bear gets a good start. Into 1 and 2, Ahern. Thorne, it all bottles up behind him. Norman runs in 4th as McKendrick gets back to the inside of Matt Nelson. The bottom's the place to be on the racetrack at the moment as it's chaos further back. Dale Rowley Jr. and Steve Gardner come together. We go yellow and we send Claridge into the concrete, who did not lift for the situation in front of him. And pay-per-view replay coming up. The SRV Road Freight replay for everyone at home. It was chaos and Dale Rowley Jr. was the one that went around. And Ahern is the one trying to stop him with Nathan Thorne, Norman and Matt Nelson all in tow. De Goldie not out of this yet either in 6th position. Kinnear, Ben Norman, McKendrick fighting back as Thorne goes to the inside, and position number 2 now belongs to the Magna. The man that won the Victorian title when Bear faltered at Warrnambool just a couple of weeks ago is right on the back bumper now. A pair of South Aussies set to battle it out here. One calls Mount Gambier home, the other calls the Murray Bridge Speedway home. As they battle it out, Stephen Gardner retires to the infield. Thorne to the inside, a big move from the Magna as he pokes the nose to the inside of Anthony Bear. Bear closes the door and closes back down in turn number 4, but he knows Surely the Nathan Thorne is there. I'd say he's on the back bumper, but he's lost the back bumper. Looks to the inside in 1 and 2. Levels up momentarily. Bear closes back around the outside. As Goldie retires to the infield. 3rd, 4th and 5th still being hotly contested. With Ahern still hanging on from Hayden Norman and Matt Nelson. Ben Norman still runs 6th. Kinnear 7th. McKendrick running around in 9th position. Russell in 10th. The front 2 cars are split away from the field. 3rd, 4th and 5th starting to fall back towards the rest of the field. But it's a quarter of a lap gap between 1st and 2nd and the rest of the field right now. Nelson the first to try the middle lane. Goes upstairs for a little Bo Peep. Switches back to the inside as Norman now tries to muscle Ahern off the curb. Behind them is at the last restart, and Bear stacks him up. He waits a long time to go. We all go single file past the cone once again, and Bear and Thorne skip away. Bear and Thorne into 3 and 4 the first time by. Thorne on the low side gets a lot of purchase off the bottom. Thorne can run a lane lower and hook the front left wheel in the grippy stuff down low, the front wheel drive, as Norman now pokes the nose to the inside of Ahern for 3rd. You don't know where to look. It's starting to deliver. Matt Nelson upstairs in position number 5 on the outside of Norman now. Nelson getting squeezed to the concrete for 5th position. But Bear has to run a lane higher on turn entry. Hunkers the car down on the bottom on the exit as Nathan Thorne throwing everything at Anthony Bear. Is he biding his time with 16 to run? Ahern still the cork in the bottle with Hayden Norman running in 4th position. Nelson 5th. We're down to 12 running in the national title as Bear and Thorne are side by side once again. Nathan Thorne goes to the inside in the Magna. The Victorian and the South Australian champion hits the front and the crowd goes wild here at Western Speedway Hamilton. Bear runs the middle lane trying to wind the 46 up, but the Magna has hit the front, the national title, and is driving away. Kinnear retires to the infield on the main straightaway here, and we're down to 11 laps to go and 10 competitors racing around. Norman gets his way to the inside in the battle for 3rd position. The battle's on down the back straightaway, and Hayden Norman goes to position number 3 with dearly love a stoppage as they're now half a lap behind your leaders. Lenny Bates trying to muscle his way through as well as Nelson has been caught on the outside, as has Ahern. The Magna still your leader down the main straightaway with 8 laps left to run. For the first time in history, a Mitsubishi Magna may win a national street stock title. Bear valiant in 2nd, but has no answers. And a long, long way back. Oh, yellow is on. There's a yellow with 3 to run in the national title. There'll be 4 to go at the restart. But the yellow is out with Ben Norman, Nick Taylor and Blomley all caught up in turn number 3. All the pressure in the world on the young fella out the front. Nathan Thorne trying to hold off the greatest street stock driver of all time. 7 titles to his name, national titles that is. 29 state titles to his name and a production sedan championship. And it's all on this young kid in the Mitsubishi Magna to hold him off. Bear goes the middle lane straight away, trying to find something different. It hasn't paid off and Thorne has skipped away. If anything, Hayden Norman may have a look in here in 2nd. Thorne running away with the national title with 3 to go. Bear sits 2nd, Hayden Norman 3rd, Lenny Bates and Matt Nelson your top 5. As we run down the back straight away, they'll come around. 2 to go. In the Cush Clothing National Street Stock title, Bear trying anything to find a different lane that works. As cars starting to expire, it's taken a very heavy toll. Only 11 still running. Ben Norman with all sorts of smoke from the back of the WA 66. We get the white flag and there's 1 to run. The NZ MJS tree and stump, number 52. Mitsubishi Magna down the back straightaway for the final time. In the national title, the 33rd running here at Western Speedway Hamilton, the Victorian and South Australian champion becomes a national champion, and he wins the national street stock title. Nathan Thorne, for the first time ever, a Mitsubishi Magna has won the national street stock title. And he wants to go and celebrate with a couple of donuts. Come on, bang your hands together. He's going to celebrate. Some reverse donuts from the front wheel drive Mitsubishi Magna. Come on, Western Speedway Hamilton, bang your hands together. That's your new national champion. The most unconventional donuts ever. So he climbs out of the car and up on the roof. Come on, Western Speedway. Bang your hands together for your new national street stock champion, Nathan Thorne.